Greetings, citizens. I am Couchman, and this is an owlbear. So I thought I would start this stream off by showing off the owlbear that I didn't get to finish last time. Uh, so here it is. This is my barn owl slash sun bear owlbear. And I think I did a pretty nice job of capturing the pattern of the barn owl's feathers, along with the sun bear. Sun bears aren't all that visually interesting looking, although they do have this neat like U-shaped yellow spot on their chest, which it's technically on the chest is kind of feathers for the but I decided to put the yellow U on there anyway, because why the hell not? And but I'm really pleased with how it looks. I also decided to do a little bit of basing by adding some shrubbery down here and in the back as well. But yeah, all that's left to do is to varnish it to give it a nice protective coating so that it doesn't get damaged. So, also wanted to compare it to the first owlbear that I did, which I've got right here. With the first owlbear, I did more of like a polar bear slash Arctic owl sort of look, and I really like seeing them next to each other because you can really tell the difference. In spite of the fact that they both have the same head, the barn owl ones look smaller, just because of the brown at the top. It kind of makes the head look a little smaller. But yeah, same mini. I've actually really gotten into doing variations on same minis. They are my friends too. Yeah, here, I'll give you a closer look at this one since this one's new. Yeah. And I also did a little bit of basing on this one just to give it some environment. But yeah. I don't have a name for this one yet. I do have a name for this one. This one is named Waffles after the owlbear of in Dice Camera Action. But yes, these are my owlbears. I think I want to get more owlbears and do even more variations like I've done with my beholders. Batchy. I don't know. But enough about stuff that I've already done. Let's talk about what I'm going to do tonight. And what I'm doing tonight is this lad right here. This is a adult white dragon. I say adult in quotation marks because, or sorry, young white dragon, because on the packaging it lists it as a young white dragon, but when you compare the size of this with other minis that are the same size as a young white dragon would be, this thing is significantly larger than those. For example, let's just go ahead. I mean, technically, a young white dragon would be the same size as, like, the owlbear here. And the white dragon is clearly significantly larger, even ignoring the wings. Not to mention the base they provide is one for a huge size miniature, as opposed to the one that they do for a large size miniature. And I just realized I didn't have those on the screen. Yeah, huge size miniature, which would be an adult white dragon. Large size miniature would be a young white dragon. So, I'm calling it an adult. But, yeah, the thing that I like about the dragons that they've been doing is they can come off the stand, which makes them easier to transport, which is nice. But, so, let's get started. As you can see, I already primed this guy because I didn't want to waste valuable time doing that. So, let's go ahead and start coating this fella. This dragon who is on the cusp of adulthood. This dragon who is not yet of legal drinking age. So I'm starting with a very dark blue, which sounds kind of weird for a white dragon, but the thing with white dragons is that because they are primarily white, they are normally visually very uninteresting. So I thought that I would include a nice dark glacial blue in there to kind of be in some of the shadowy areas to make it look a little more interesting. Because white dragons live in very cold environments. I've never seen or read Stand By Me, so I can't make any good jokes referencing that. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I've heard it's good, but I don't know. Okay. This guy has a lot of scales standing out on his back here. So I'm gonna have to go. I think I'm gonna have to go a little heavy on the blue so I can get the blue in between all the nooks and crannies of his scales. Yeah, I kind of imagine that if you were a dragon, feeling like a giant brush going like kind of hard on your back, like getting in between all your scales would feel pretty nice. So, doing this guy a favor. Why am I calling it a guy when I don't really know its gender? Well, because in the campaign I'm running, the group recently fought a adult white dragon who was a male, and I kind of wish that I'd had this available for that fight. Instead, I had to use my adult blue. I mean, there is that too. Then I don't know. I always kind of think of white dragons as male, but like other dragons, not so much. I think it's because white dragons are very dumb and very predatory, which probably says something about my view of men. So enough gender politics. Let's talk about this dragon. Yeah, white dragons are probably my least favorite of the chromatic dragons, just because they are not particularly interesting. Look, I don't have a whole lot to say on gender politics because as a cishet white guy, I kind of fall into the category of the overrepresented majority, so I feel like I should give other people room to talk about that stuff because they're more knowledgeable on it than me. Okay. I'm not going to do so much on like the underbelly and stuff just because those areas are going to be very dark anyway, so I don't think the blue will show up very well. And I kind of want the blue only to really like hit areas. I mean, technically you're a guest right now because you're the only viewer who's actually talking. Not that I'm trying to shame anybody else into talking. I'm just commenting. Yes, Charlie is indeed a friend of the show. She has come out for most of my streams. And she does a lot of the talking, which is good because I can babble about really stupid things if I don't have a good direction to go in. Really ought to watch some Bob Ross and figure out how he does it. Then I really do want to do a decent enough Bob Ross impression. Alright. I do not want to adopt some squirrels. Interestingly enough, one of our cats has tried to adopt chipmunks. Alright, so that is the start of the white dragon. It's nice and blue. Which is, you know, weird thing to say about a white dragon. But, alright, so now let's go ahead and get... Let's get a little bit of a more contrasty kind of color in here. So, because I like to slowly build up the value, I'm going with a kind of medium gray right now. And in certain areas I'm going to go with the texture of the wings, and in others I'm going to go against it, mostly just based on how I feel it should go. Okay. Probably more against the texture of the wings than with, but you know, if I really wanted to, I could have just spray painted this thing white and called it good. Maybe colored in the eyes, but no, I have to try and make my dragon look realistic, because that's a thing. Something that I really don't get about this particular miniature is these like really long phalanges right here. Like, I've never seen that on a white dragon before, and it weirds me out a little. But other than that, I think this is a pretty good sculpt. This is one of the latest ones from the Nulzer's Marvelous Miniatures line, which I'm a big fan of. And you will absolutely see me paint more of their stuff, because they're the official unpainted D&D minis that are put out by WizKids. And admittedly, I do have other miniatures as well. Like, I've got some of the Gale Force 9 premium selection ones, which you will also see me paint. And I've also got Reaper miniatures, which are pretty good. Alright, so this time I'm actually going to hit the underside of the wings, because I, at the very least, want the underside of the wings to be gray. Don't want them to be black, except, you know, in, like, the folds of the wings. But, like, looks pretty good. Alright. I'm just going to slowly work my way across the dragon. And that was a lot heavier on the gray than I wanted. Okay. Trying to find good angles for painting and filming this at are a little difficult. Then again, this is still better than doing a medium-sized miniature, which would mostly be covered by my fingers the entire time, but really ought to do some smaller miniatures, since so far I've done a cannon, a shark, an owlbear. What did I do last time other than the owlbear, which I didn't finish? Shit, what the hell was it that I did? Charlie, come on, you've got to remember. Or at the very least, you can check my Instagram and find out. I'm trying to remember what I did last stream other than starting the owlbear. Ah, thank you. Yes, the wyvern. Yeah, the wyvern. So, yeah, I've only really done the large things on here. I really ought to do something smaller. I did just get some... God damn it, that was a lot hard. That was a lot more intense than I wanted the gray. Oh, well. So yeah, I do have some kobolds that I picked up that I will probably want to paint soon, because I do love me some kobolds. Okay, I need to get some more gray. I am also intending to paint the base tonight, but we'll see how long this takes. As I've learned, bigger miniatures do tend to take longer to do, but I am hopeful. I am so hopeful that I already started priming something else that I want to do tonight, depending on how long this takes, obviously. Okay, so just about done with this medium gray. It's actually more light than I would have preferred, but I couldn't actually find the right color gray that I wanted when I was at the store. But this'll do. This'll work out just fine. Okay. So now we have... Oop, I just realized I did not get parts of the forelegs. Okay. And I didn't get that part of the rear leg. Okay, I'm glad I'm double checking this, because that would have been real irritating if I had moved on to the next shade up. Okay. So now I'm kind of wondering if any dragons are ticklish. kind of imagine they wouldn't be, but I don't know. Okay. That looks good. Okay. So, went from blue to gray. We are covering all sorts of chromatic dragon colors except for white. Although gray dragons are not really a thing these days. At least not in canon D&D stuff for 5th edition. I did like that they added them in 4th edition. But there was a lot of stuff I liked about 4th edition. Alright, so now I'm going with kind of a off-white. The proper color name is linen, but it's not quite a cream because it's a little more dull than that. But it's pretty close to cream. Okay. Okay. Just slowly building up the value. Really hoping that blue shows up at the end. It's a little hard to see it right now, so it may have just been a waste of time. But even if it was, it's okay. I am still very much a novice at this. Like, I've come a long way since I started. I actually wouldn't mind. Well, for one of these streams, one of these days, I might actually just go through like all the minis I've done. I don't know how much people would be interested in that. And again, it's not like I have a lot of people watching me, but okay. Okay. Alright, paint the dragon feet. Massage the tail. Okay. Now he's looking more like a bone dragon. A very fleshy bone dragon. That's the thing I like about this paint. It's very good for bone, in my opinion, even though it's called linen. But that's the thing. Paint's very versatile. Okay. So I'm hitting the edges of the wings with this, but I'm not going to get anywhere near like the center because that's going to be that would be the darkest part. So shit, that was a lot heavier than I wanted. Oh, okay, it's in an area that works, so that's fine. That's fine. That's one of my problems. I'm very heavy-handed, which is why I hate trying to do faces. Okay. Okay, so a little more there. Okay, so that wing is done. I'm not going to hit it with anything I might do a very little bit of actual white on the very edge, but that's about where I want the wing to be. This one's a little more upturned, so I'm going to hit more of it. Okay. Alright, so the undersides of the wings are good. Let's get those pecs. Yeah. And the neck. Gotta get the neck. I've always really been fond of the designs for the dragons for D&D. For the most part. There are some exceptions, and the biggest one being the 4th edition green dragon, which I don't know why they decided to redesign the green dragon, but none of the other ones, but man, did it look awkward. The weird thing is, it seems like Pathfinder kind of copied that design to a certain extent. Which, I mean, whatever. I'm less fond of the Pathfinder monster designs, particularly the dragons, than I am D&D. I know Wayne Reynolds does, like, I don't know about all of it, but at the very least a ton of their... Oh, shit, that was really heavy right there. A ton of their artwork. And for the most part, I do like his stuff, but there's certain designs that he goes with that I do not care for. Particularly some of his dragons for Pathfinder, and also goblins. I hate how he does goblins. They have these enormous heads, these really wide shark-like maws full of stupidly sharp teeth, and they just... You are free to love them, but I hate them. I am a much bigger fan of goblins that have reasonably sized heads and don't look like they're going to eat your face. Then again, I like the idea of goblins as people, not as monsters. More, not necessarily civilized people, but people nonetheless. Okay. I mean, that's fair. And it's all a matter of a difference of opinion. You know, I know a lot of people really like the Pathfinder goblins. That's fine. I know a lot of people really like Pathfinder, and I don't, and that's fine. A lot of people don't like the idea of dwarven women having beards, but I'm okay with that. Sophie Campbell actually has some really good-looking dwarven women with beards, and I can't remember if she just hinted at it or if she explicitly said she's going to be doing a series featuring them. I don't think I ever ran across them in Oblivion, but I didn't play Oblivion for very long. Mostly, I just remember seeing Patrick Stewart die. I am not going to click that right now, just because I'm trying to run a stream here. Okay. Yeah, I'll take a look at it after I'm done with this. When am I going to be done with this? I don't know. Just, I don't know. I might call it around 9 o'clock. I don't know. Alright, so... Alright, he's gone from blue to gray to sort of a zombie look. So, I am making progress on this dragon. Alright, so now that I've got the off-white, I think it's time for the white. Alright. Really noticing that the white is hard to like really see in this lighting. That is something I will have to take into consideration for future streams, I think. Admittedly, I don't know how the hell I'm going to fix it, but, you know, it's... Then again, it might be a simple enough fix as just fiddling with my camera's lighting settings. Or maybe just having more of a background. I don't know. I'm actually playing with the idea of having different surfaces down here and also different backdrops depending on what I'm painting. You know, like a dungeon scene for if I'm doing more classic dungeon monsters, grass and stuff for or something that looks grassy for if I'm doing like an owlbear or something. But I don't know. Might just be irrelevant set dressing that'll take too much focus away from the minis themselves. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out exactly what all I want to do. And suggestions are, of course, welcome. I even have a suggestion box now. So if you have suggestions, feel free to go ahead and drop them in the box. I may or may not consider them, depending on my whims. Just the barest trace of white on the underside of the wings. Okay. Yeah, I'm actually really liking how he's looking. in general, I'm kind of really pleased with how much progress I've made when it comes to painting minis. Okay. Alright. He's looking less like a zombie and more like a white dragon. Arothator, Old White Death. It was actually kind of a really fun encounter for me to run for my group, because by the book he's just a standard adult white dragon, but there's like a bunch of lore around him, not just in the adventure given, but also in like some other stuff for the Forgotten Realms. So I decide he like supposedly raided this tower that belonged to the Arcane Brotherhood. They were this wizard fraternity, essentially. So I figured that, like, white dragons aren't known for their smarts. So I figured if he was raiding it for, if a white dragon was raiding it, he'd probably be smarter than the average white dragon. If he's raiding it, he specifically wants like spells and stuff. So I actually gave him a couple of spells that he used on the party, which one of them being Fireball, which they were not expecting, and was kind of hilarious. Especially since their wizard, who is a fireball happy nut, ended up getting caught in it. Partly because he dared to backtalk the dragon while he was monologuing, so he was literally asking for it. But that was a fun encounter. A couple of the group nearly died. Nobody actually did, though. Oh, hey, you're here too. Good to see you. Okay. Yes, I am, in fact, painting a white dragon. I'm actually getting kind of close to the end of it. No, I don't think. Maybe a little right there, but I don't want to get too much white on the underside. Yeah, remembering is always good. Alright. That's right, I need to hit this wing with some white too. It's okay if you forgot for a minute. All what matters is you're here now and you can comment on things. Okay. Okay. Alright, I think I'm just about done. But I still have to do the face, and there's little something I want to do with the wings too. So let's see. I think for the eyes, I'm gonna go back to that deep glacial blue that I had. The very start. Didn't really show up too much in the body of the dragon, but that's okay. I wasn't sure it would. Okay. Okay, so there's the eyes. I gotta do the mouth still. And I still have to do the base. That's alright. Again, as long as you're here now. I've only been at it for about 42 minutes. So, and I want to go. I try to do these for a good amount of time because, well, I have fun with it, and I don't like painting for only like an hour or so because it feels like once I'm an hour in, I'm only like just getting warmed up. Okay. Alright, this. I feel like a dentist right now. I was a dragon masseuse earlier, now I'm a dentist. It came in a little. I don't know, I was hoping for a little bit more, but that's okay. No, that is not me. That is you entirely, and you know it. I am not nearly so lewd as that. Okay, so while I wait for the mouth to dry a little, I'm gonna go ahead and bust out the little special something that I wanted to do. So, my first exposure to D&D was in 3rd edition, and in the 3rd edition and 3.5 edition monster manual, the white dragon pictured there has some purple bits at the tips of its wings. So I'm actually going to go ahead and put that on there as well, because I actually really liked how it looked. It added a lot more interest to the dragon, I thought. Yeah, there we go. Oh yeah, if you go ahead and Google, if you go ahead and Google White Dragon, it'll show up in the image search results. I'd pull it up myself, but I am a little preoccupied. I don't want to fiddle with like which of my tabs will show up on the stream and which ones won't, because I have a lot of tabs open, obviously. I mean, not obviously, I guess, but I feel like everybody these days has lots of tabs open. Just like at all times. So on my screen, the purple isn't really showing up as purple too much, but I'm looking at it in person and it does. But I think there's a little something else I want to do too. Okay. Also, Ava, you were the one being lewd. You were talking about dragon jobs, which, yeah, you know what that sounds like. Just a little bit of nice sky blue. Blend it a little bit into the purple. Get sort of a glacial effect. Yeah, that's looking nice. I feel like I'm doing Bob Ross unintentionally now. Yeah, real soft light blue. Alright. Alright, so I mean, yeah, I've just never actually, like, really watched Bob Ross. Alright, so just need to finish the mouth here, and I think I'm good. So okay, so let's go back to the super tiny brush and hit that tongue with a lighter color, as well as some, why did I put the paint all the way over there? Come on. Alright, so there's that. And yeah, so have I. Like, I've seen a little bit of, like, one episode of The Joy of Painting, but never really watched it. Which is weird considering I went to art school at a time when Bob Ross, like, he had died recently, so, like, everybody was about him and just how, like, wholesome and good he was. So I've actually got a different white that I'm hitting the teeth with because I want to stand out from the white of his. Yeah, I told you. Trust me. I've had that monster manual for so many years, and I looked through it so many times. Particularly at the dragons. Because, you know, I have a huge fondness for dragons. Like, don't get me wrong, there's plenty of awesome monsters in D&D, but, like, dragons, man. Dragons. Okay, I think I need to get that one tooth a little bit more. Let's see if I can get that one. Yeah, there we go. Alright. And the white dragon is done, I think. Oh wait, no, I gotta get the claws. So I gotta get my glossier black. So I can do his nails. Yes, it is definitely not. It is definitely not Took's love for dragons, or or Ava's, you know. Hey man, you're the one who was talking about doing dragon jobs up in here. Paint the nails, paint the nails, paint the nails. I know they're claws, but I'm calling them nails, alright? Who am I talking to? I don't know. You guys, I guess. Okay. Just now noticed that tiny little claw at the back here. Alright, there we go. Alright, now I think the dragon itself is done. So, let's go ahead and do the base. The part you've all been waiting for. So, once again, I'm going to start with that nice glacial blue. Only this time I'm going to go a lot heavier. But I'm also only really going to go in the cracks between the bits of ice or snow or whatever this is. Alright. Gotta get in all the nooks and crannies there. Cranny is a weird word, by the by. Don't know if you ever thought about it, but I have. For all of like 2 seconds now. Look, if you can't think of anything that doesn't hurt your character to say, that probably says something about your character right there. Okay, so now I'm gonna go for a different blue. And before I had the brush really loaded this time, not so much. Yeah, that's more what I was going for. I mean, it's not being impugned if you're the one doing it, man. Also, you spelled impugn wrong. Alright. I think that's as blue as I want that. So now I'm going to go ahead and get... I mean, it's not shiny yet. If I hit it with a high gloss varnish, then it'd be shiny. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and go over the blue with my medium gray again. My good old friend medium gray. Cousin of Dorian Gray. Probably not. For a moment, it took me to remember who Goodman Gray was. All right. So now I've got the more cream color off-white that I used in for the fangs. I'm just gonna lightly dry brush this on here. And I haven't been washing my brush in between these too much, so I've still got like just a little bit of like gray and blue in the brush, which I think is helping to help blend the colors a little. And okay. Alright, now for just a little bit of white. That is a little too much white. A little less white, a little less white. Okay, and I think I like that. So that is the dragon, and that. Right, how do you go on there? Come on. There we go. It's dragon. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. He's a little drunk. It's okay. It's hard being a dragon. So I just technically I don't have to glue it to the base, but I'm going to because shut up. And once again, I'm reminded that I need to get more glue, which is really irritating because I could have gotten more today, but I forgot. Alright. Alright. Then I'm just gonna have to go ahead and varnish this once, but I'm gonna save that for after the stream because I don't really think it's interesting watching me go over the thing with clear coat. But let's see if I do a close-up, you can really see the blue and the purple in the wing. And let's take the dragon off so I can get some details on the ice. And I don't know why, but the sculpt on this face makes me think that it's less of a roaring dragon and more of a leering old man. Then again, I did call him Old White Death earlier, so maybe he is an leering old man. I just realized most of you were not present for the conversation that I was having with Charlie about the supposed age of the dragon. I don't know if any of you really want to hear it. But another thing that you guys did miss was you missed my owlbears. So this is the first owlbear that I did many months ago. It is a polar bear slash snowy owl or Arctic owl or whatever it's called hybrid. And the one that I did or started doing on Saturday, I finished it last night, was this one, which is a barn owl slash sun bear owlbear. And I also did a little bit of basing down there, adding in some shrubs, some foliage for scenery. So yeah, 2 owlbears. I just noticed my snowy owlbear has some gunk on one of its wings. Yeah. How'd that get there? It's on the base too. What the hell? Alright. Alright, I got it. Poor hygiene. Oh, you. Alright, so Owlbear and White Dragon in the to be varnished box, which really ought to actually get to some of that. Alright, and it's only been a little over an hour, so I think I'm gonna keep streaming. So, as I had mentioned probably before most of you were here, I wasn't sure how much I was going to get done during the stream, but I had something partially prepared just in case I finished the White Dragon, which is another dragon. This is um, a young brass dragon. Although this one, just because of the size of its body, I'm more willing to believe that it is a young one. But, so I already started priming it, as you can see by the fact that it is mostly black. But I did not get to finish because I started this like 20 minutes before the stream, and I was still kind of setting up down here too. Well, so far they don't have any adult dragons from this line, but they do have adult dragons from their pre-painted line of miniatures. And no, this is not Reaper. This is WizKids, the Nulzer's Marvelous miniatures. Yeah, because Reaper doesn't have a contract with Wizards, they don't get to do the official D&D dragon designs, which, as I stated earlier, I'm a big fan of. So that's why I've been so excited about these. Like, I do like a lot of Reaper's miniatures, although I do feel like some of their women tend to be a little too cheesecakey for me. But oh, I have a gigantic Reaper dragon, rest assured. I got it as part of the Reaper Miniatures Kickstarter that I did last year, that I only got a few months ago. I have not. I would appreciate a link to that, preferably not in the chat here, since I can't really click on it right now. Go ahead and send it either over Discord or Facebook. Would greatly appreciate that. I am actually expecting some minis from another Kickstarter, which is months past due, and the company hasn't been very communicative about it. I do like their designs, but man, oh man, I'm just really irked that they're so far past due, and there's been so little communication about what the fucking holdup is. But they have some really cool looking dwarves, so I'm trying to be patient, and I'm also trying to not mentioning the company in particular because I don't want to give them a bad name. There are certain companies that I will be happy to say bad things about, but this isn't one of them. Especially since it is so small, and they do have some really cool designs. Like, if it was Wizards or something, I wouldn't mind calling out a bad product or something they were doing, but it's not. Alright, so let's talk about this brass dragon. I do not have a very clear idea of how I'm going to paint this thing because, one, I can't really remember too well how brass dragons look. off the top of my head. I'm going to actually have to look up a reference pic. I also was not able to find any brass-colored paint when I was at Jan Hobby Shop. I had found bronze, I found copper, I found gold, silver, platinum, all those, but no brass. And I would just go ahead and use, like, bronze or something for it, but, well, I also happen to have this bronze dragon, which I did not realize was supporting the backdrop I got there. But, okay, so I'm going to let that dry a little bit while I look up a reference pic and put some of these unnecessary paints away. Dragons of the Blood Moon. I did not hear anything about that. Then again, there are so many Kickstarters going on at any given time. There's only so much I could pay attention to. Not to mention, I was really trying to not back any Kickstarters for the lead up to Gen Con because, well, I wanted to spend money at Gen Con. And I wouldn't have money if I backed a whole bunch of Kickstarters. Then again, I also don't really have anywhere to put any gigantic prints. So, it's probably for the best. Okay, so, brass, dragon. Okay. So, not too many actual brass dragon picks, lots of other dragons, because sure. Just make my life more difficult, why don't you? Let's see how it is. Okay. Well, I think I'm going to do this kind of how I did the copper dragon that I did a couple months ago, which I do happen to have right here, so I'm going to show it off a little bit. I have it nearby because I only just recently got around to varnishing it. Yeah, this is my copper. He doesn't have a name. Most of my minis don't have names. He's shiny. Yeah, I've made it a habit of just picking up the dragons from really any minis from the Nolzer's Marvelous Miniatures line, whether or not I have a actual use for it or not, because eventually I'll have a use for it probably, or it'll at least look cool. Yeah, that's good at least. Did they have any like exclusive stuff for the Kickstarter? Oh yeah, I should probably. This is the base for the dragon. This is actually probably the lamest of the dragons because this is the only one that's not in flight. So he doesn't need this enormous base. He's got this little thing. Well, if you don't find it, then it's okay. I have plenty of minis to paint as it is. Not to mention, I have 3D printable files for a bunch more, which I actually have to give to you so that you can print them for me, since I do not have a 3D printer of my own. Okay, so let that dry. And so for this guy, I'm going to start with my dark brown. All right, so yeah, I think I haven't even painted half of the minis that I got from my Reaper Kickstarter yet. And admittedly, there's some of them that I don't particularly want to paint. Like, it came with some translucent green ghost pirates, which I'm not sure if I want to paint. Like, part of me wants to do like a real light paint job on them so that you can still see the translucent green, but I also want to like give their clothes some color and stuff. Okay. This guy I'm probably not going to finish tonight on the stream, but let's see how far I can get. Considering I'm doing 2 huge-sized minis tonight, that's pretty good. I also think I'm going to get further than I did the owl bear. Which is impressive considering how much more area I have to cover. Okay. There we go. Had to switch something real quick. So I'm debating on doing 2 mini painting streams every week. One on Wednesday, and the other one I'm thinking for Saturday, because I'm one of those people that has no life and spends Saturday night at home. And again, I also work all weekend, so Saturday is really my Tuesday. Whereas tonight is my Saturday night, and I'm still spending it at home. The joys of having really bad social anxiety. Okay. Fortunately, this thing is mostly wings, so once I get the wings done, I'm more than halfway done with it. Oh, that's cool. Might have to give that a check at some point. May I help you?
Perhaps. Possibly. I bring a baby. I don't know why.
Yeah, that's a good question. Cats and streaming usually don't mix very well. Nor do cats and painting.
Nope, which is why I'm not leaving her down here.
I don't think she would want to stay down here anyway.
True. Do you want something from Dairy Queen?
Do I? That's a good question. I don't think I do because I've got ice cream here. But I'm also debating on if I want a smoothie. Because I do like their smoothies. You know what? I'm okay.
Okay.
Go get yourself a blizzard, you filthy addict. I'll just keep painting. Painting my happy little dragons. I actually do have a smoothie type drink upstairs that I could drink if I want. But I also have plenty of other dessert type things that I could have. I apologize for making you want a smoothie. I would offer to have Ava go get you one, but, well, you're a little far away. Alright, so now I have a dark chocolate dragon. And I'm not going to need the brown anymore, so I'm going to go ahead and put it away. Okay, so how am I going to make a brassy color? The problem with looking at the illustrations is that it doesn't really look too much different than either a gold dragon or a bronze dragon. So how do I want to do this? I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a coat of copper on it and then a coat of bronze on top. That might give it the look that I want. So, alright. That was my chair. I have a very old, very squeaky chair. And if I shift my fat ass in it, I can make it squeak. Okay, so this is alright, so for the copper dragon I actually picked up two different colors of copper paint. Or not really colors because it's still copper, but I picked up a duller one and a shinier one. So I'm going to do the duller one. I'm just going to brush it on kind of lightly. Man, this thing's shiny. If it wasn't for the copyright problems, I would totally start playing Shiny from Moana right now. Well, that, and it would take me a few minutes to set up, and I don't really feel like doing that. At the very least, I did remember to mute my computer because I noticed that Athelstan went ahead and sent me a link to the thing that he was talking about, and my computer didn't make a noise, so yay, remembering to do things properly. Unlike last time. I also haven't knocked the camera over yet. So this stream is already going a lot better than the last one. You know what? I've come up with a name for my copper dragon. I've decided I'm going to call her Penny. Because I am that guy. And I just noticed a big white spot on this guy here. One of my Twitter friends actually is making me think about naming more of my minis. And I think I'm going to call this one Izzy. And I decided on Izzy just now because when I think of brass, I think of the Steam Powered Giraffe song, Brass Goggles. And my favorite member of Steam Powered Giraffe is Isabella Bunny Bennett. So Izzy, short for Isabella. Yeah, I thought you would like that. Brass Goggles is not my favorite song of theirs, but it is a good one. And if you guys haven't listened to Steam Powered Giraffe, I highly recommend them. They are a very silly steampunk band. They dress up as robots and get on stage and perform very steampunkish kind of music. Yeah, I like Hatchworth a lot, so I'm sad that he's gone. Oh, my current favorite is the Ballad of Delilah Morio. I think that's the full title, but Delilah Morio. Just because I love the energy for it, and it's got like a really different kind of sound than a lot of their other stuff does. But I like so many of their songs. I can't really pick a real favorite. That was a little heavier on the copper right there than I wanted, but that's okay. I'll be able to fix it. What's the one that I'm thinking of that I really like? I really like their cover of Diamonds by Rihanna. But that's because I really love the Spine's voice, and that one is mostly him singing. And he just does such a good job with it. I also really like their cover of I Love It by I forget who. I'm not great with music. Yeah, he does have a really impressive range. I do like Automatonic Electronic Harmonic. Ghost Grinder isn't bad. I think there's other ones I like more than it, though. And I don't remember Cellophane, oddly enough. Like, I know I've heard it, I just don't remember it. Alright, I'm almost done. Almost done. Just got a little bit more to hit on this wing. Alright, and I don't have every inch covered, but that's fine because I don't want every inch covered. Okay, so I have a shiny dragon. Rah! Alright, so now the question is, which bronze do I want to use? Because, like the copper, I have a couple different shades of bronze. Where? And speaking of, where's my other bronze? That is not bronze. Oh, it's already out for reasons which I'm not entirely clear on. I think I'm gonna go with this one. Alright. Don't really know how well this will show up on top of the copper, but we'll see. Because they look pretty different in the paint pots, but I'm looking at the bronze and it looks really similar to how the copper looks on the dragon, so let's find out. Yeah, I'm not really noticing anything. Okay, that's mildly concerning. Okay, let's try the other bronze. Why not? Let's also go ahead and cover up that copper. Alright. The thing that I don't like about this particular bronze is it needs a lot more agitating to get it to be properly mixed than the one that I was using. Alright, so this one ought to show up better. Let's see. Okay. Okay, I do believe it is showing up better. It's a little hard to tell because it is still really close to how the copper ended up. Hmm. Huh. Hmm. It's showing up a little better, but not much. Hmm. This is a conundrum. Oh, Malfunction's a good one. Then again, I like pretty much all their songs. Not all of them, but you know, that's just how it is. You know, you're not gonna like everything a band does. At least I don't. Yeah, the video for that's great. Ah, how do I get a little bit of wood on his face? Okay. Huh. Well, this is not turning out at all how I was hoping. I was hoping it would. Well, it just goes to show you that sometimes things do not work out how you intend. Okay. They're taking another look at the reference pick, because I know there are shades to the dragon that are not just the more metallic ones. That's primarily the body, but the wings. Some of the picks I'm seeing, they have more reddish and orangish tones, so maybe I'll go ahead and do that for right now. Just Alright, so let's go ahead and grab my number 3 red. For a lot of my paints, I've got 4 different shades. I've got 1 which is my lightest and 4 which is my darkest. So I'm going with my second darkest red right now. So okay, I'm just gonna hit the spots between the wings. So I don't really want to do a wash because washes on minis tend to go into all the crevices and nooks. So I would lose a lot of the really dark tones, and it wouldn't show up as well on the higher parts. So instead, I'm dry brushing it on. Washes are really great at emphasizing shadows, though. Okay, I do like that the red isn't taking away the luster of the copper, which is good. The copper slash bronze, I guess. Honestly, because the copper ended up looking so much like the bronze, I can't remember where I hit with the bronze and where I didn't. So this is one of the reasons why brass dragons are my least favorite. You know, Like they look so much like bronze dragons, except they're not as interesting. And they're like so much weaker than bronze dragons. It's just like, why do you exist? Okay. I actually do like how that's looking, though. Yay! Problem solving. Real problem solving in real time. Okay. Alright. Accidentally got a little bit on the phalanges, so I'm gonna have to go back and hit those with the shininess again, because I do very much want to keep the like proper scales to be super shiny, whereas the webbing between the phalanges I want to be more dull. Okay. Problem solving in 3D. I don't know why that came to me, but it did. And you have to live with it. Well, this is good to know for the future. This is actually pretty good to know for my, before I do my bronze dragon, too. Because I really don't want that one to look bad. Oop, that is really heavy. Lighten it up, there we go. Okay, you know what, I think I'm going to get the other big one right here, and then I'm going to switch to a smaller brush, since I'm just hitting a lot of the phalanges. Yeah, okay, smaller brush time, after I thoroughly get the paint out of that one. Alright, smaller brush. I'm not entirely satisfied with how the red looks on its own, at least not for like the entire wing, so I'm gonna hit like the top parts with an orange to give it a little bit more variation. And I'm still kind of hitting the phalanges a little bit. Oh well, it be what it do. Like I said, I am very happy that the luster is still shining through. Gives me some options for doing other stuff. Okay. Not sure I'm going to do the bronze dragon on stream just because I'm probably going to have to experiment with that one a lot, and I'd rather not. Rather not fuck up really badly in front of other people. Oh, I kid, of course. I mean, kinda. I do want to at least seem somewhat competent in this, after all. Don't know how well I'm coming off, but you know. Okay, just about done. Then I'll have to go back and fix all the spots I missed, but I'm going to hit it with the orange first. Alright, so that's how it's looking so far. So now, oddly enough, orange is the only one of my paints that I only have one shade for. And again, I don't generally use it very often, and the few times that I do use it, I want like a real, really want just one shade of orange. There we go. And I'm trying to get good lighting on it, and it's not really working too well, so oh well. Still need to figure out. There's still certain things I need to figure out for doing streams down here. But I'm still very new to this, you know. This is what, my fourth stream, I think. Yeah, something like that. I don't know. I'm sure Twitch would tell me if I so desired to look it up. Although this is definitely my most successful stream because I have a lot more people watching than I normally do. Also, a much more active chat. So, thank you all of you for being fairly talkative, at least. Oh my God, you can hear that? Wow, I was going to jokingly say something about that, but wasn't sure anybody could actually hear him other than me, so I thought it would be a... No, I know. You're doing fine. You're contributing. Honestly, I just appreciate people tuning in. Because I would not mind this becoming like a side gig, honestly. So, getting people to watch, increase, you gotta get people to watch in order to become an affiliate. And that's how you can actually start getting money. I think I need to do just a little bit lighter there to make it fade a little more. Yeah, there we go. There we go. That's actually looking not bad now. Now I don't hate him as much. Alright. We're getting into the home stretch, though. So I don't think I'll quite be done with it before we end tonight, but I do think I'll be pretty close, so I'll probably... And then again, I don't have to end it at 9 exactly, so fuck it. See, that's something I would like to actually do more of, is terrain, but I've just been so... I don't know, it's... Don't know exactly what's stopping me from doing it. Because it's like I've seen plenty of tutorials. There's stuff that I want to make. I just, I have all these piles of stuff that, like, I've got like dungeon tiles like this that I've made and little walls and stuff. But I think it's the idea of just how tedious it is doing the same things just to get a decent enough set for like one dungeon is kind of the tediousness is what bothers me, because like even with uh, even with my minis, I don't spend that much time on them. And like even if I do multiples of the same mini, I can do variations on it, like I did with the owlbears. Or I did some Yuan-Ti a couple months ago for my campaign, and I could have done it the easy way and just made them all look the same, but I decided to make them all look different. I picked different kinds of snakes for them to be based off of, and I also painted their clothes different, and it was a lot of fun. Okay, so that looks pretty good. I don't really think there's anything else I want to do with the scales, so I guess I just got to do the mouth and the eyes. What color do I want these eyes to be? That's a good question. I'm actually going to take a look at some of the illustrations and see what they have for their eyes. They have... Okay, kind of an orange. Okay, I can work with that. Especially since I still have my orange out. So, okay. Let's go ahead and get my tiny brush. That's a little sloppy. That's okay. I can fix it. That one is better. I also have this stupid little piece to do still, which that's not going to be particularly hard. Okay, what color is that? This is the color I wanted. Okay. Once more, super tiny brush. Alright. Now open wide and say, ah. Good, dragon. Good. You have lots of tiny little teeth. Tiny teeths. And again, your body is small. Why are you so small? You're a dragon, for God's sakes. I'm also gonna hit this really irritating white spot that I did not notice earlier. There we go. Yeah, I've done plenty of terrain. Well, not plenty. I've done a decent amount of terrain, and I backed a Kickstarter for the Terrain Tutors book on which I'm going to be getting in February. So that's going to have a lot more stuff in it, which I'm looking forward to. I think the biggest thing that's biggest reason I haven't tried doing terrain more is because I tend to not game at home, so I'd have to lug all the terrain with me to the hobby shop to set it up, which is which I have done, but honestly, it might just be the tedium that's holding me back more than anything. That and possibly lack of tools, because some of the stuff I could do with what I've got, but not everything. Okay. Alright, give the tongue a little bit of brighter color on the outsides. And now I just need some of my off color for the my off white for the teeth. This is also very much not a compliment for my quote unquote career. I would just go ahead and tell you guys what my career is, but you all know what I do. I get paid to crank my sausage, and that is a lot heavier than I wanted. Shit. Ah, fuck. Okay. Hooray, that worked. God, why are your teeth so tiny? I don't like you. Started not liking this dragon again, guys. God, I like... His upper teeth aren't even really all that defined. Grumble, grumble, grumble. Mostly just kind of looks like a bony ridge. But whatever. Because you sound like you're coughing up an entire cat. Not just a hairball, an entire friggin' cat. Yeah, I don't blame you. Alright, and because it was really heavy with the first stroke of trying to do the teeth, I got some of the tongue, so I gotta go back over the tongue again. Okay. There we go. There we go. Okay, now I just need to fix up some of the phalanges and also around the eyes. And then I will be done with this fucker. Oh, and then I have to do the base. I guess. You know, I'm going to go ahead and do the base right now. So, because I want the terrain to look a little different than the Copper Dragon, that one I had to incorporate a lot of red to the rocks. This one I'm just going to go with light brown for the stones. And I'll brighten it up with some ochre. Like this is barely going to be seen, so I'm not going to put too much effort into it. You can see the little peg holes where his feet are going to go. And I just realized I missed a spot with the black, but that's okay. I'll just take a little bit more paint to cover it. It'll be some natural variation in the rock, it's fine. Alright. Where the hell? There's my ochre. For reasons that I can't quite remember, I've actually got two different bottles of ochre. So I've got one as my lightest brown. I've also set them aside as my darkest yellow. Because really it does work for both those purposes. Well, I think Ava has stopped dying. So either Ava is dead or is better. I cannot tell which. Alright, that's about all. That's about all I want to put in for this because, like, seriously. It's mostly in shadow. Okay, good. You're not actually dying. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and glue the sucker in real quick. I am sure Charlie will be happy to know that you are not dying. I know I am happy that you are not dying. Forgive the absence of anything interesting going on the camera. I just don't want to. Just want to make sure I'm getting this okay. So I've got it real close to my face. Alright. Citadel paints have really interesting names for their colors. I actually really like Citadel. It's so expensive for what you get. And honestly, I've had really good results with the paint that I use. Like their paint is good quality. You will not hear me besmirch the quality of that paint because it is really solid. But it's also like This is my thing of black. This is mostly empty. This is also not my first one of these that I've bought, so. I mean, you want it liquid at first, but you want it solid at the end. Duh. Dick. Alright, let's go ahead and put some of these away so that I've got less stuff clogging up my work area. Okay. There's the brown that I want. Yeah, no, that's fair. Like, one of the big reasons that I haven't gotten into Warhammer is because the minis are expensive. Well, that and I have nobody to play with. Because, like, if I want to spend that kind of money on minis, it's one thing, but convincing other people to spend that kind of money, now I'm living in a fantasy world. Yeah, that is nice. I have noticed that they're trying to make the game a lot more accessible to people. But at the same time, I still don't have anybody to play with. Admittedly, Warhammer and stuff is pretty big at one of the game stores near me, but again, really terrible anxiety. Which, you guys know about. At least I'm pretty sure y'all do. Don't know who all's in the chat. I've got 6 people, which is more than I've ever had. So, yeah, I saw Kill. One of the places I game at has like a big kill team display. Although it doesn't seem like 40K is like big there, so they're one of those places that's a lot more Magic. Like a lot of game stores, because Magic is good money. Like, you can say what you want about the quality of the game itself, but it does bring in money to the store, which is always important. Also, I like Magic, so. Okay. Okay, just trying to clean up the big splooge of orange that I got for the eyes. Yeah, I've seen a lot of Age of Sigmar stuff too. Which, again, it's cool that they're trying to get more people into it. Another thing I don't like about this particular bronze that I'm trying to use is that it doesn't cover well. So maybe I ought to try one of the other things that is, let's go ahead and try that other bronze I've got. Alright. I also just remembered that in addition to streaming my last stream, I recorded it. So I might want to try putting it on YouTube or something after I find it on my computer, because I don't know where it's saved. Okay, so this one also doesn't look like it covers great. Cool. Cool, I've got 2 bronze and neither one covers great. Okay, well, that's fine. I don't really need it to cover that great. Yeah, I'm actually really pleased with how this guy turned out. Especially considering at first I was really not liking it because he looked very much like the copper did at first. But once I figured out the idea of dry brushing on some red onto the wings, that really helped. So then it also helps that I named her Izzy. So I've got Izzy and Penny as my brass and copper dragons respectively. All right, I think that Izzy is done, with the exception of gluing the little standy thing to the base, which is going to be fun because it's not flat. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, set that down, and let's get some glue on there. And once I get this glued on there, I think I will call this stream good. Because this is actually the longest stream I've done at this point. I was just going to shoot for a solid 2 hours, if that. But because I was so close to finishing this, I decided, fuck it, let's just finish this off. And if I felt like it, I probably could have based this and like made the entire black base look like, you know, rocks, but I've had mixed luck with doing that. Like I can add bushes and stuff, and like I can add, you know, bigger rocks, but making it look like the ground is like all cracked stone and stuff, that I haven't really had much luck with. Okay, come on. Trying to be gentle because I don't want to put too much pressure on it, because otherwise the paint's going to come off, because I haven't varnished it yet. Alright, I think that's good enough. Alright, so there is Izzy. And just to give a comparison, I'm going to grab Penny again. I think I'm actually going to go ahead and when I post the picture on Twitter, I'm going to tag Isabella Bunny Bennett on there to show her that I named a dragon after her. But yeah, that is Izzy, and yep. Okay. Alright. Well, so that is the copper and the brass dragon. They do, in fact, look pretty different next to each other. So that's good. But, anyway, that's it for tonight. So I got the brass dragon and also the white dragon done, which is pretty dang good for a stream. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. As I said, I'm going to be doing this regularly on Wednesdays, and I'm probably going to be doing another mini painting stream every week as well. Date to be determined. But thank you very much for tuning in. Uh, have a good evening. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other.